Was on the Bay Bridge today, driving into the city, and all of a sudden, before getting to the city, but already being on the bridge, traffic came to a full stop. And it turned out that there were protesters on the bridge. They were protesting the war in Palestine. And we ended up being there for about 3 hours. And it was very interesting, just kind of observing myself, observing the people around me, observing my thoughts about the protesters. Cops came out in full riot gear. One observation I'll make about the police, this is both highway patrol and just, city police. With some exceptions, they did not look to be in great shape physically. And I was thinking to myself, if these are the people protecting us, they should get on a fitness program. But it was certainly unpleasant being there for 3 hours. The sun began to shine, and it was warm. It was slightly uncomfortable in the sun. Also, being on the bridge, I got a little bit of vertigo. Nothing terrible. But as I would get out and walk around to stretch my legs, and would get a little nervous standing on the bridge. But overall, I just kind of took it as an exercise in being uncomfortable. And I thought to myself, whatever these people are protesting, there are people in these places, Palestine, for instance, Ukraine, who have it a lot worse than I do right now. And I know that no matter how uncomfortable I get in these, minutes and hours up here on this bridge, it's going to end. Like, the police are here. They're going to break up this protest. Eventually, we'll be able to get on our way. Whatever's going on in these other parts of the world where people live in war zones, that's not going away anytime soon. These people are in that, for good or for a very long time. And so it's just kind of like a good study in suffering. I was uncomfortable because it was inconvenient. It was hot. You're sitting in a car. It's uncomfortable. You don't know exactly what's going on. Things are not in your control. So there was a little bit of suffering going on. And I kind of noticed how I dealt with it, and how I kind of just went, inside myself, and just kind of, I got calm. I got really calm. And I knew that I could handle it for as long as I needed to handle it. And it just kind of occurred to me, like, okay, I'm annoyed. I might even be angry, but there are people in the world, who have it way, way worse than I do. So it was cool to have that perspective in that moment. So I guess that was my homage to, the people the people who were protesting, the people for whom they're protesting. I won't really go into here how I feel about people protesting. I mean, what I heard was stop the ceasefire, which generally I agree with. So, I don't know if they were protesting, for Palestine or against Israel. Generally speaking, I've been getting annoyed or even angry when I've seen people protesting, for Palestine, quote unquote, or certainly against Israel. But I'll talk more about that in a different post. Yeah. The last thing I'll say is that when we finally got going, I knew that I would, barely be able to make it. I was driving into the city for like a conference, and I knew that by the time I got there, it would be already time for me to leave because I only had so much time budgeted for it. But instead of turning around and going home and kind of cutting things short, I did everything that I meant to do. I went all the way into the city. I parked. I walked to where the conference was. I actually met somebody I know at the conference very quickly, and then turned around and walked out. And it was, that might sound a little weird, like why did you go there for such a short period of time? But it was just a way for me to just complete the process. It felt good to finish what I was there for, even though it didn't go the way that I thought it would. So it's kind of like a Zen thing for me.